My dear students, today I am going to continue the equilibrium unit. Last class I have derived equilibrium constant Kc and Kp for three examples. Today I am going to discuss regarding for the Le Chatelard principle. Okay. I am Dr. R. Gunasekaran, Professor of Chemistry, taking class for you. So today, let me start with Le Chatelier-Pran principle. This is the most important unit. Definitely one question will be asked under this. What is Le Chatelier-Pran principle? Let me define the definition. I will read. Kindly listen. If a system in equilibrium, only in closed container it is possible. If a system in equilibrium is subjected to change in temperature, change in pressure or concentration, the equilibrium is shifted in such a way as to nullify the effect of change. Let me read again. If a system in equilibrium is subjected to a change in temperature, pressure or concentration, the equilibrium is shifted in such a way as to nullify the effect of change. Let me explain with a suitable example. You can understand it. Before that, let me give a simple examples of the reaction. Just see here, I have given some 4 reactions, homogeneous equilibrium reactions. So I am going, as per our syllabus, only first 3 examples I am going to discuss under the Le Chatelier-Pran principle. My dear students, once if you look into the equation, 3 factors immediately you have to predict. What is the first product? First is delta N. What is delta N? Total number of moles of products minus total number of moles of reactant. In this case, 0. In this case, 2 minus 1, 1. In this case, 2 minus 4, minus 2. Kindly follow. So this is the delta N value. The second case, immediately you must know regarding Kp and Kc. And Kp and Kc again depending upon the delta N. Delta N equal to 0, Kp, Kc equal to, that is equal. Kc equal to Kp equal in the case of delta N equal to 0. If delta N is not equal to 0, then it may be greater than lesser than. Kp and Kc is not equal. Kindly follow. So what we have to next, we have to see Kc and Kp we have to discuss, you have to find out. And third most important, delta H you have to find out. In the case of first case, exothermic minus 10.4, the magnitude only we must know, but the numerical value is not necessary. And the decomposition of PCl5 is endothermic. Formation of ammonia again exothermic. Kindly follow. So whenever we are discussing about the Le Chatelier-Pran principle, these 3 factors you must keep it in your mind and you have to discuss. Please follow. Let me come back now. Specific example under this, example 1. H2 plus I2 2HI. I told you already, here the first one delta N equal to 0, Kp equal to Kc, and this is an exothermic reaction. Forward reaction is exothermic, backward is endothermic. With this idea, now I am going to discuss. Kindly follow. Now, for this, kindly follow. In the case of H, the H2 plus I2 reversible are 2HI, Kc and Kp are same value, that is, this is the value. 4s squared within bracket 1 minus x whole square. There is no pressure term involved, there is no volume term involved. Please have it in mind. That's what I want to specifically, I am giving this. Okay. Now, what are the factors affecting equilibrium? Factors affecting equilibrium. Number one, effect of concentration. Concentration of the reactants or products will affect the equilibrium. Effect of volume will affect the equilibrium. Effect of pressure will affect the equilibrium. Effect of temperature will affect the equilibrium. The effect of temperature will affect the equilibrium. In the two cases, effect of catalyst and effect of inert gas addition, it is rarely used to affect the equilibrium depending upon the nature. But only in the case of catalyst, equilibrium will be quickly reached, that's all. So we have to concentrate first four only. Anyhow, even though I will discuss the other two, the concentration should be only on the effect of concentration, effect of volume, effect of pressure, effect of temperature. So let me take here first example. H2 gas plus I2 gas, reversible RO2 HI as usual. Now I can predict now as per rule delta N equal to 0, therefore Kc equal to Kp. Then delta H, third factor, it is exothermic. Forward is exothermic, backward endothermic. So first let me, what is the first factor? Concentration. Left side H2I2 gas, right side 2HI. So at equilibrium conditions, the reaction mixture contains both reactant and products, that is H2I2 reactant, HI molecules. Now, according to Le-Chatelier-Plant principle, addition of concentration of H2 or I2, which is on left hand side, will favor the forward reaction, will induce to form more and more HI, so will favor forward reaction. And same way, addition of HI favors backward reaction because you are adding a product on the right hand side. So the equilibrium will be shifted in such a way to nullify the effect. Not to nullify, it will become the reverse reaction. It will favor backward reactions. So concentration. Now volume, very very interesting information. Students, please keep it on mind. From the stoichiometry of the equation, one cannot predict the pressure nature of pressure. But what we can predict? Mole we can predict. From that we can predict volume. Okay. So 1 mole means 1 mole, again volume is 22.4 liters. 1 volume means 22.4 liters. Avogadro hypothesis says. So I can say here volume, 1 volume means 22.4 liter, 22.4 liter. Here 2 into 22.4 liters. Kindly follow. So as usual, we know already, we have already discussed delta and 0. So now come for regarding the volume. Kindly see here, the both sides, the volumes are equal. That means delta N equal to 0 means we already told you Kc equal to Kp. So here the system consists of reactant and products in gaseous state, and the total number of moles of products equal to total number of moles of reactant, and also volume also both. Here 2 volume, here also 2 volume. Hence what will happen now? The increase of volume or decrease of volume will not affect the equilibrium. Will not affect the equilibrium. So, increase of volume or decrease of volume will not affect the equilibrium. Not affected by equilibrium. At what condition? When delta N equal to 0. The third one, pressure. I told you pressure you cannot predict. Again, you have to think in mind. You have always keeping in mind of volume, you have to think of pressure. So here, system consists of reactant products and gaseous state. The total number of products equal to total number of moles of reactants. So kindly follow as usual here 1 volume, here 2 volume. But even though pressure, I am indicating the volume to know that both sides are equal. So what will happen now? Hence, increase of pressure or decrease of pressure will not affect the equilibrium. Because in the original equation I told you, that is Kc equal to 4x by 1 minus x whole square, there is no V involved, there is no P involved. So pressure and volume will not affect the equilibrium. effect of temperature. This is the very important effect of temperature. So for that we must know the delta H value. It is exothermic. The numerical value is not necessary to memorize. It is in the minus. So forward reaction is exothermic, backward reaction is endothermic. Here forward reaction is exothermic and backward reaction is endothermic. Therefore, generally when the temperature is increased in a chemical equilibrium, the endothermic reaction will be more favored. That means backward reactions take place, so decomposition will start at a high temperature. Low temperature, formation of HI will form. This is the interesting information. So similarly, in the equilibrium, if the temperature is lower, the exothermic reaction, that is forward, will be more favored. Kindly follow. Now, effect of catalyst. I told you this is not so important, but anyhow, one way it is helping the equilibrium to attain quickly. A catalyst affects both forward and backward reaction to the same extent, so it does not change relative amounts of reactants and product at equilibrium. The values of Kc and Kp are not affected. However, the equilibrium is quickly obtained in the presence of a catalyst. What way? By decreasing the energy of activation. The energy of activation. Can you follow? The energy of activation, this we will discuss under the chemical kinetics, then you can understand. But temporarily you just listen to me. It is the energy between the reactants and the what we can call it as a transition state. Kindly follow. Let me go for next one, 1.6. Effect of inert gas addition. When a small quantity of inert gas is added in the reaction, the equilibrium remains undisturbed if it does not take part in the reaction. If it is reacting, then it will affect. If it is chemically inert gas, if it is not reacting, nothing will happen. It is because the addition of inert gas at constant volume does not change the partial pressure or molar concentration of substance involved in the reactions. So let me take example 2. This is a decomposition of PCl5 into PCl3 and Cl2, all are gases. Reactant PCl5 gas, product PCl3 gas, Cl2 3 gas. Kindly follow delta N equal to, that is 2 minus 1. Products minus 1. It is 1 is the positive value. So automatically I can write Kp value in this form, Kc into RT to the power of delta N, that means RT. So Kc into RT, that means Kp always greater. Please follow. If delta N equal to positive, Kp is greater than Kc. Please keep it on mind. Kp is greater than Kc. Okay. Let me go for concentration. Effect of concentration. This is hereafter is very easy. The left side PCl5 gas, right side PCl3 gas, Cl2 gas. Here, increase of concentration of PCl5 will favor forward reaction. And increase of concentration of PCl3 or Cl2 will favor backward reactions. So this is the effect of concentration. Effect of reactant will favor forward. Effect of the addition of reactant will favor forward reaction. Addition of product will favor backward reactions in all the reactions. Effect of volume, very important. The left side 1 volume, right side 2 volume. Please follow. Volume is higher on the right hand side, left product side low in the right. Hence, 1 volume of reactant produces 2 volumes of products. There are 2 products. So, increase of volume. So, it depends on volume. Increase of volume will favor forward reaction. Because right side 2V, left side 1V. So, increase of volume will favor forward reaction. And the same way, decrease of volume will favor backward reactions. Kindly follow. In this case, Kp is greater than Kc. Delta H equal to positive endothermic. Please follow. We are heating. We are supplying energy. Endothermic. Okay. Effect of pressure. Again, I told you pressure we cannot, only with the help of the volume we have to think. Now come for the one volume. This is one volume. So I'll write say 2 volumes. So delta n equal to 1. So what we have to think of, whenever we increase pressure from the ordinary Boyle's law, P1 V1 equal to P2, that is nRT, let us assume. That is P1 V1 equal to the P1 V1 equal to nRT, or PV equal to nRT, let us assume. So whenever pressure increases, automatically it will affect the volume. Then only this will be constant. Kindly follow at a particular temperature. So when pressure increases, volume decreases. When pressure decreases, volume increases proportionately. So that factor you have to consider here. So increase of pressure will favor decrease of volume. Kindly follow. Increase of pressure will favor decrease of volume. That means, hence in the reaction, whenever pressure is increased, kindly follow, pressure is increased, volume decreases, the reaction will be backward. Favor backward. Volume, lower volume. And the reaction proceeds to left as there is decrease in the volume in that direction. Thus, a high pressure favors the formation of PCl5 and low pressure favors the decomposition of PCl5. Please follow. This is the effect of pressure on PCl5, decomposition. Effect of temperature. Just see, look at the delta H value, positive, endothermic. So forward is endothermic, mean backward will be exothermic. Kindly follow. So in this reversible reaction, equilibrium, forward reaction is endothermic and the backward is exothermic. Therefore, increase of temperature will favor endothermic reaction, that is forward reaction. Increase of temperature will favor forward reaction. Decrease of temperature will favor backward reactions. Kindly follow. Catalyst. A catalyst affects both forward and backward reaction to the same extent, so it does not change the relative amounts of reactant and products at equilibrium. The values of Kc and Kp are not affected by catalyst. However, the equilibrium is obtained quickly in the presence of catalyst due to the decrease of energy of activation. Okay. Effect of inert gas addition. When a small quantity of inert gas is added in the reaction, the equilibrium remains undisturbed, provided it does not take part in the reaction. Okay. It is because the addition of inert gas at constant volume does not change the partial pressure or polar concentration of substance involved in the reactions. The third specific example, I will concentrate, formation of ammonia, Haber process. N2 gas, 1 volume, 3 volumes of hydrogen to produce 2 volumes of ammonia gas. So as I already pointed out, in this example, you have to find out 3. What is 3? What is delta N? Total number of products, moles of products minus reactant. That means 2 minus 4. That means the answer is minus 2. That means here Kp less than Kc. Kc is greater than Kp. So we know delta N. Now we know the correlation between Kp and Kc. And also the reaction is given as an exothermic. Forward is exothermic, means backward is endothermic. So with this idea, let me go one by one. First, concentration. In this case, according to Lizard's principle, addition of N2 reactants and H2 reactant favor forward reactions. The same way, addition of ammonia product favors backward reaction. This is a routine. Then second, here the system consists of reactant products in gaseous state, and the total number of moles of products is equal to 2 and the total number of moles of reactant is equal to 4, and also volume. Hence, the increase of volume favors, kindly follow, effect of volume. Kindly follow, effect of volume, let me write better, 1 volume, 3 volume, 2 volume, Kindly follow. So here what is happening? As usual, we know already here delta n equal to -2. We have already discussed. And delta H formation is an exothermic. The value I have already explained you. Then Kp is less than Kc. These are the three factors we know about in this case. So let me come for volume. So increase of volume left hand side, reactant side, a decrease of volume on the right hand side. Hence, the system of reactant consists of reactant and product in gaseous state, and the total number of moles of products is equal to 2. That means 2 volumes, and the total number of moles of reactant is equal to 4 volumes. Hence, kindly follow. Increase of volume favors. Kindly follow. Increase of volume, this is 4, this is 2. Increase of volume will favor backward reaction. Decrease of volume will favor forward reaction. Please follow. So, increase of volume favors backward reactions, or decrease of volume favors forward reactions. Now, come for effect of pressure. Again, remember, I told you, with pressure we cannot do anything because from the stoichiometry we cannot be able to identify pressure, but with the help of volume only we can speak. 1 volume, 3 volume, 2 volume. That means volume is low means high pressure. Volume is high means low pressure. This we have to assume. This we have to assume from the gas equation PV equal to nRT. Now, thus, in this equation, formation of ammonia, kindly follow you, increase of pressure will favor decrease of volume. Increase of pressure will favor decrease of volume. Decrease of volume, which side, which direction? Product direction. So, hence the reaction proceeds right hand side, forward reaction. And there is decrease in the volume in that direction. Kindly follow. So, always increase of pressure will favor forward reaction. Thus, the high pressure favors the formation of ammonia, and similarly, low pressure favor decomposition of ammonia. Low pressure left hand side. Please follow. Then temperature, effect of temperature. Third example. I know already that is delta H equal to exothermic. Heat of formation will be exothermic. In this reversible reaction, forward reaction is exothermic, negative. And the backward reaction is endothermic. Therefore, increase of temperature will favor endothermic, that is backward reaction. Decomposition of ammonia takes place. That's why Haber process, formation of ammonia will be formed only at low temperature. So therefore, increase of temperature will favor endothermic reaction, that is backward. Coming for catalyst, as usual, a catalyst affects both forward and backward reaction to the same extent, so it does not change the relative amounts of reactant and products at equilibrium. The values of Kc and Kp are not affected. However, the equilibrium is attained quickly in presence of a catalyst because catalyst will decrease the energy of activation. Inert gas, as in the previous cases, when a small quantity of inert gas is added in the reaction mixture, the equilibrium remains undisturbed since it does not take part in the reaction, chemically inert. So there is no change in the equilibrium. Now, the next topic I will go for, so far what I have discussed is the chemical equilibrium. Now, I will concentrate on ionic equilibrium. Ionic equilibrium means reactions involving ions in the equilibrium. The equilibrium reactions involving ions. Kindly follow. So, for this, you must understand the theory of ionization. The famous theory is Arrhenius theory. There are number of postulates. Please, students, kindly go through this. This is very, very important. Arrhenius theory. The postulate 1. There are two types of electrolytes, namely strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. Strong electrolyte, I am giving example, sodium chloride, potassium chloride. Weak electrolyte, I am giving example, water, ammonium hydroxide and ammonium acetate. Kindly follow. Dear students, here I want to give one information. Please keep it in mind or please note in your notebook. Please take your notebook and note. Because this is very, very important information not available in your book. It is higher level. So how to identify the strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes? Strong electrolytes, I can say one, all mineral acids. All mineral acids. What are the all mineral acids? HCl, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, phosphoric acid, etc. These all mineral acids are strong. And the second, all hydroxides of first group and second group, alkali and alkaline earth metals, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, barium hydroxide. So these are all, kindly follow, strong electrolyte. And the third one, from this salt is forming. And so the number one, salt of strong acid, strong base. Salt of strong acid, strong base, example sodium chloride, strong electrolyte. Number two, salt of strong acid, weak base. That is, the strong acid, weak base, what I can write is acid is HCl, weak base ammonium hydroxide, so ammonium chloride, salt. HCl, the acid is HCl, base is ammonium hydroxide. And three, weak acid, strong base, ammonium acetate. Ammonium acetate is an example. It is salt of, not ammonium acetate, sodium acetate, Sodium acetate is the example. It is the reaction between sodium hydroxide and acetic acid. Acetic acid, weak acid, sodium hydroxide, strong base. So salt, sodium acetate is again. These are all strong electrolyte. Please follow. So let me come back again. All mineral acids strong. All hydroxides of alkaline earth metals strong. Any salt of strong acid, strong base strong. Any salt of strong acid, weak base strong. Any salt of weak acid, strong base strong. Electrolytes. Strong electrolytes. Then you can ask the next one. What are the weak electrolytes? How can I identify? Let me come back. Weak electrolytes. One simple example is commonly known is water. Another important is ammonium hydroxide. This is commonly asked. That's why I am giving first priority. And the third important I want to give is, kindly follow, ammonium acetate. That is ammonium acetate. That is salt of weak acid, weak base. Salt of the weak acid, weak base. Ammonium acid. So these are all. Additional to this, 4, all organic acids and bases are weak electrolyte. Please follow, my dear students. This is very, very, very important. This you keep it in mind, because one among the following is a weak electrolyte, strong electrolyte. Any question is coming, this idea, unless you have, you cannot answer. So let me go now. So first one, there are two types of electrolytes. I have given very clear idea, strong electrolytes and weak electrolyte. Number 2, electrolytes dissociate generally in solution into charged particle called ion. There are two types of ion, cation and anion. Let me ionize this, B plus, A minus. Suppose if it is a sodium chloride, I can write sodium plus and Cl minus. Kindly follow. So electrolyte dissociate into charged ion, positive ion and negative ion, cation and anion. Number 3, there may be an equilibrium between the dissociated ions and the unionized molecule in the case of weak electrolyte. In the case of weak electrolyte, kindly follow. This is most important. There may be an equilibrium between the dissociated ion and unionized molecule. Unionized molecule in the case of weak electrolyte, because in strong electrolyte completely ionized. Strong electrolyte completely ionized. So there is an equilibrium between dissociated ion and unionized molecule, means it's only indicating weak electrolyte. Postulate 4. The electrolyte as a whole is neutral. Electrolyte as a whole is neutral, and hence the total charge on the cation is equal but opposite to that of anion. In this case, plus 1 minus. In this case, again 2 plus 2 minus. Calcium chloride is the valence of calcium 2 plus, 2 chloride ion 2 minus, so total equal. Postulate 5. The properties of solutions of electrolytes are the properties of ion present in the solution. Whatever ion it is present in the solutions are responsible for the property of the electrolyte. 6. Postulate. Electric current does not produce ion. Please follow. When you pass electric current, it will not produce ion, but it has only to direct the ion to move opposite electrode. So as soon as we add electrolyte in a suitable solvent, it is dissociated to ion. But what is current doing? Current does not produce ion. It will direct the ion to move, push the ion to move plus positive ion towards negative electrode, negative ion towards positive electrode. Postulate 7. The conductivity of electrolyte solution generally increases with the increase in temperature. This everybody knows. Increase of temperature will increase because of the kinetic energy increases. Kindly follow. These are the postulates of Arrhenius theory. Now, what are the evidences for this theory? A number of evidences I can give you. One important evidence is, this we have seen under the thermodynamics. In the enthalpy of neutralization of any strong acid by a strong base is always constant. The value it is minus 57.32 kilojoule we have discussed. Because in all the, whatever strong acid, whatever strong base, actual reaction taking place between H plus and OH minus, so that's why it is constant. So this is an evidence for the ionic reactions, supporting the Arrhenius theory. And another thing, the color of any solution due to the formation of cation or anion. Say for example, you just think of potassium dichromate, color orange due to the chromate ion, permanganate pink color due to the color of the ion. Third one, the concepts such as Ostwald's dilution law we are going to study later. Common ion effect also we are going to study later. Solubility product also we are going to study later. These three concepts we are going to just now, within few minutes we are going to see this. So they are based on Arrhenius process. This is an evidence for Arrhenius theory. Next one, 4. Chemical reaction between electrolytes is almost ionic reaction which favors Arrhenius theory. Specific example, silver ion plus 6Cl minus ion to give silver chloride precipitate. And the fifth one, the conductivity of electricity by electrolytic solution is due to the presence of ion which favors Arrhenius theory. Because there are two types of conductivity. One is ionic conductivity, another is metallic conductivity, the metallic conductor. So here the ionic conductors, ions are responsible, which favors Arrhenius theory. The abnormal colligative properties of electrolytic solution can be explained with the theory of electrolytic dissociation. Example, sodium chloride. We will be studying later the colligative property, that is in the chapter solution. Solution we will study. The sodium chloride actually will consider as one particle, but will undergo dissociation to produce two particles. So, it will not give, when we are determining the molecular weight will be lower than that of expected we are getting. So, abnormal colligative property we will observe. That is again favors Arrhenius. The last evidence, fast reaction in the case of strong electrolytes and the slow reaction in the case of weak electrolyte favors Arrhenius theory. Okay. Next, limitation. drawbacks of Arrhenius theory. The Ostwald dilution law we are going to see later, based on Arrhenius theory, fails completely when applied to strong electrolytes. So Ostwald dilution law applicable only for weak electrolyte but not strong. So Arrhenius theory fails to explain that. The next second drawback, the value of equilibrium constant varies with the concentration in the case of strong electrolyte. So equilibrium constant should not change, but it changes with concentration. It is also theory, the Arrhenius theory fails to explain. Third important limitation, there are a series of difficulties in the calculation based on ionic equilibria supporting this theory when applied to strong electrolytes. So these are the limitations. Now, let me come for acids and bases. Another important the topic under this. That is, we have discussed Arrhenius theory. Now we are going to say acids and bases, or I can simply say acid-base theory. There are three concepts to explain the properties of acids and bases. One is Arrhenius theory. Number two, Lowry and Bronson theory. Third is Lewis theory. The Lewis theory is the modern theory. We are going to discuss, kindly follow. This is the modern theory. First one, let me go for Arrhenius theory. According to Arrhenius, kindly follow that the theory of ionization now different from this Arrhenius theory. Don't confuse yourself. According to Arrhenius theory, what is an acid? An acid is a substance which gives only H plus ion as only cation when dissolved in water. So, you take any acid dissolved in water, always you will get H plus ion. That is the theory says. An acid is a substance which gives only H plus ion as cations when dissolved in water, while base is a substance which gives only in water, dissolved in water, only give OH minus ion. So it's a simple example. See here, HCl here. What way it will happen now? H3, it will combine H3O plus. That means donating H plus and Cl minus in solution. So which gives only H plus cation. If you take the sodium hydroxide in water, sodium plus OH minus, aqueous saying it is in OH aqueous in water is dissolving. So OH minus is supplying. It is aqueous. Kindly follow. Aqueous means water solution of OH minus. Please follow. This is the important. So according to Arrhenius, acid is a substance we donate H plus in presence of water as a cation. Base is substance which will donate OH minus as an anion in water. Okay. Limitation. What are the problems we are facing according to this concept? Number one, the theory defines acids and bases in terms of aqueous solution. Only with water it defines, but not in terms of substance individual itself, substance itself. By taking HCl alone, by taking sodium hydroxide alone, it is not speaking. It is speaking only with water. So it is a drawback. Okay, right. Second limitation, it fails to explain the acidic properties of substances containing no H plus. So for example, aluminum chloride is an acid. There is no H plus. Liquid ammonia is a base. There is no OH minus. Kindly follow. So, this theory fails to explain acidic properties of substance containing no H plus. And also, the basic properties containing no OH minus, like that. Kindly follow. 3. It fails to explain basic property of substances containing no OH minus. Without OH minus, there are substances which behave as a basic substances. A simple example, let me take now this reaction, you can understand. Calcium carbonate, I will heat with calcium heat, I will get calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Kindly follow, this is a salt. So now let me say this way, the reverse. When I add calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide, I am getting calcium carbonate. So this is a salt. When salt is formed, one should be base, other should be acid. This is an acid. This is a base. So calcium oxide is a base. So calcium oxide base means it's not containing OH minus. Kindly follow. So drawback of the Arrhenius theory. So in order to get the help of, to overcome this problem, we'll get the help of second theory, Lowry and Bronsted theory. Lowry and Bronsted theory. According to this theory, an acid is a substance, kindly follow, which donates proton to any other substance. Kindly follow, they are not speaking about water. It's not speaking about water. An acid is a substance which donates proton. It will donate proton to any other substance. And base is a substance which will accept a proton from any other substance. So this is donating acid, accepting base. Let me take example, acetic acid. So in this case, acetic acid, when I dissolve it in water, kindly follow. So what way it will ionize? Acetic acid and acid donate H plus, so water is converting into H3O plus. So I am getting acetate ion, negative ion, positive ion. Please follow. So now I am introducing two terms. One is conjugate acid, conjugate base. Very, very, very important. Please remember. What is the meaning of conjugate acid, conjugate base? Or simply they will say conjugate pair. So how we can find out the conjugate pair? If we take the acid side and product side, and if they differ by H plus, that pair is called conjugate pair. Say for example, you take an acid, acetic acid and acetate ion. We know acetic acid is acid. So acetate ion is a base. So conjugate base. Same way, this is water is a base. So H3O plus is an acid. Kindly follow. This is the base. This is an acid. Conjugate acid. Why H3O plus is an acid? Because it can donate H plus. Please follow. The change is the strength of the acid when medium changes is called leveling effect. Please remember. What way? So I will take now HCl in water. I can take and same HCl in acetic acid. Kindly follow. So the acidity will not be same in both cases. HCl water will be more acidic, HCl acetic acid will be less acidic. This is changing the level of the acidic strength. So this is called a leveling effect. Okay. Now, continuations. Thus, HCl acts as a strong acid in water, but as a weak acid in acetic acid. Just now I informed you. So limitations. It fails to explain the acid and base behavior in the case of aprotic solvent. What is aprotic? So solvent we can classify a number of ways. One is polar solvent, another is non-polar solvent. One is protic solvent, another is non-protic solvent. Non-protic solvent. What is protic or non-protic? Protic means containing H plus, HCl, sulfuric acid, nitric acid. Aprotic means without hydrogen. So even carbon dioxide, liquid carbon dioxide is there. Liquid ammonia is there. So these are all liquid sulfur dioxide is there. Okay, these are all, we will call it as aprotic solvent. So it fails to explain acid and base behavior in the case of aprotic solvent. Kindly follow. Now, let me go for third, Lewis theory. I told you this is a modern theory. An acid is a substance which accepts a pair of electrons. Please follow. Everything we are leaving. No ions if we are speaking. Only in terms of electron. Acid is a substance which can accept a pair of electrons. And base is a substance which will donate a pair of electrons. Donate a pair of electrons. See for example now, ammonia, H, there is a lone pair. So ammonia is a base, we know, but it's not containing OH minus. So according to Levy modern theory, base is a sum which these donate pair to H plus, forming ammonium ion. So ammonia is a base. Kindly follow. As it is a substance which can accept a pair of electron. Example, all Lewis acids. For example, in the boron family, boron trichloride, aluminum chloride, etc., they are Lewis. This one, for obeying this theory. Okay, let me come for types of Lewis acid. So these Lewis acids, I can classify into three types. This is very, very important. Molecules containing less than octet of electron. Example, boron trichloride. Electronic configuration 2s2, 2p1. So 3 electron in the outermost. So when I go for chlorine, it is 3s2, 3p7, 7 electron in the outermost. So 7 electron means 1 electron for chlorine. I can write here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. So 6, this is the chlorine 7. The same way, I can write in all the direction. The chlorine, and here also chlorine I can write. 6 electrons I can write. Kindly follow. So, why I am calling it? Because the center, consider the central boron element, only 6 electron deficient molecule. So, it can accept a lone pair. So any species having lone pair like ammonia, it can donate lone pair to boron trichloride. So boron trichloride, aluminum chloride are examples of molecular containing less than octet. So all boron family comes under this category. The next two. Molecules containing double bonds normally will be acting as a Lewis acid. Example, carbon dioxide. Just now I told you previous case, reacts with the calcium oxide, gives calcium carbonate. Because this is a salt, so automatically carbon dioxide is an acid, COO, calcium oxide is a base. So, next. Now coming for the third one, all positive ions are examples of Lewis acid. All positive ions. So there are 3 types. One is less than octet, then compound containing double bond, and 3 positive ion. The same way, we'll go for the Lewis base. What is the base? We have defined already. A base is a substance, according to Lewis theory, modern theory, that will donate a lone pair of electron. Example, ammonia, I already pointed out. So this I can, the 2 types. One is molecule containing lone pair of electrons. Ammonia. H, lone pair. So this will donate lone pair to H plus. So this is the one type. Another is all negative ions, Cl minus, H minus, all negative ion, they will act as the Lewis bases because they will accept H, they donate the proton. Kindly follow. This is the modern theory. My dear students, I hope you have enjoyed the class. Thank you very much for your kind cooperation. Dear students, kindly, you are seeing the YouTube, click, share your friends, and don't forget to subscribe, which is the encourage, tonic for me to give more and more videos to you. So after finishing the plus 2 level, I will go for even PhD level, if God permits. For students who are waiting for NEET entrance examination conducted by Government of India, that is plus 1, plus 2 or plus 2 completed students, I want to give one important information to you. We have the online platform vetri.s. vetri.s, vetri.us. Kindly go inside and view the home page. You can see our achievement for 20 years. You can raise what is the achievement. For the last 20 years, Pondicherry first rank we are getting. All India first rank, that is the JIPAR first rank. And that second is Every year, 15 to 20 students we are sending every year through our Vetri Coaching Center that is operating from 1999 in Pondicherry. Number 3, 150 to 200 students from through our institute are joining the other medical colleges. Hundreds of 200, 300 students are joining the engineering colleges. Now there is no coaching for engineering. Previously it was. Now, what is the main feature of Vetri Doctors? I will give 3 important points. Number 1 feature, it have 200 lessons chapter for all subjects, 4 subjects, and 200 tests. This is the most important. What is the feature of 200 tests? Question bank. All the questions are taken from IIT, AIMS, AIPMT, AFMC, AIMS, the MSET Andhra for last 20 years, 1975 to 2015, and now after the 5-6 years of the NEET question paper, from that we have taken question and we have just framed the question paper. Then you can ask, what is the advantage of us? So if you follow our Vetri Doctors, minimum 300 marks you can get easily from us through Vetri Doctors. Same question will be repeated. This is the first feature. The second feature, the most important, is a review. This is not available in any other online platform. You can go and visit any online this review for it, because after attending the test, if you want to review, suppose the software will work out this correct answer 4 marks, wrong answer minus 1. So suppose for unit 180 is the total marks. So suppose you are getting 140. So 40 marks you are losing. So you want to know where you are losing, which question you have done mistake. So in that case, near the mark, there is a menu called review. Click review. Immediately the question number 1 will open. In the question number 1, what will happen? Question number 1, first question will be there. Option A, option B, option C, option D. Suppose your answer is A, this will be in blue color. Option A in blue color. And the D is correct answer. D will be in yellow color. Below that, correct answer will be given. Not only that, if you do not know the answer, there is a video solution will be there. Video answer solution will be there. Professor will discuss for 10 to 15 minutes. This is the second most important feature. And third important feature is low cost. Only 10,000 rupees we are charging for 1 year with plus 1 or plus 2 or plus 2 completed students. So that very, very cheaper. Even poor people, you can undergo these Vetri Doctors and you can join, get more than 600 plus marks in entrance examinations. So you can, if you want to join, pay 10,000 rupees in the name of Santi, Indian Bank. So the account number 71271941, IFSC code IDIB 000P134. And if any information or any queries, kindly contact me. My number 9894176425. Thank you. See you in the next class.